Everyone thinks FDs are the safest, smartest way to grow money. But what if I told you for the last 2 years, a large chunk of Indians have been leaving returns on the table without even knowing it? Not because they made a bad decision, but because nobody told them there was a better option sitting right next to their FD. Here's why this matters. India has over 100 lakh crores sitting in fixed deposits right now. That's not a small number. That's the savings of crores of families, teachers, businessmen, retirees, all parked in one place. And most of them have never once compared it to bonds. Not because bonds are complicated, but because nobody explained them simply. If you're someone who has an FD, is planning to open one, or just wants to understand where your money works hardest, the next 10 minutes will change how you think about fixed income forever. Let's start from the beginning. When you put money in an FD, what are you actually doing? You're lending money to a bank. The bank takes your money, lends it to other businesses and individuals at higher rate and pays you a fixed interest in return. Simple. Now, what is bond? When you buy a bond, you're lending money directly to a company or the government. They pay you a fixed interest called a coupon every 6 months or every year. And at the end of the tenure, you get your principal back. So both are essentially the same concept. You lend money, you earn interest, you get your money back. The difference is who you're lending to and what rate you get and how much control you have over your money. That's it. That's the whole framework. Now let's get into the actual numbers because this is where it gets real. Point number 1, the return gap. You have rupees 5 lakhs, you put it in an FPI FD for 3 years. Current rate roughly 6.5 to 7% per annum. At the end of 3 years, you earn approximately 1.07 lakh in interest. Now take the same rupees 5 lakhs, put it in high rated corporate bonds, say an AA rate, NBFC bond for the same 3 years. Current yield anywhere between 8.5 to 10% per annum. At the end of 3 years, you earn approximately 1.35 to 1.50 lakh in interest. That's a difference of 28,000 to 43,000 on just rupees 5 lakhs. Scale that to rupees 50 lakhs and you're looking at a gap of rupees 2.8 to 4.3 lakhs over 3 years, just sitting there uncaptured. Point number 1, FD versus government bonds. Now let's talk about a comparison. Most people completely ignore FDs versus government bonds, not corporate bonds, not NBFC bonds, pure government of India bonds, the ones backed by the sovereign itself. Here's the thing, most people assume government bonds give lower returns than FDs because they're the safest option available. That assumption is wrong. Right now, the 10-year Government of India bond is yielding approximately 6.7 to 7%. That's roughly one par with, sometimes even slightly better than what most banks are offering on their FDs. But here's where it gets most interesting. State development loans, bonds issued by state governments are currently yielding 7.2 to 7.5%. That's roughly than most banks' FDs. And they carry sovereign level safety backed by state government of India. So you're getting more return and the same level of safety. The combination simply doesn't exist in the FD world. Now let's look at the taxation because this is where government bonds quickly pull ahead. Interest from FDs is taxed as per your income slab. If you're in the 30% bracket, your 7% FD effectively becomes a 4.9% post-tax return. Government bonds interest is also taxable, but here's the edge. If you buy and sell a government bond after holding it for more than 1 year, the capital gains are taxed at just 10% without indexation or 20% with indexation. That's significantly lower than slab rate taxation on FD interest. So for someone in the higher tax brackets, a government bond is not just equally safe as an FD, it's actually more tax efficient. One more thing, FDs lock your money. Government bonds trade on the NSE and BSE. You can exit any day the market is open, no penalty, no haircut on interest. So to summarize their company simply, same safety as an FD. Equal or better returns, better liquidity, more tax efficient for higher income earners. The only reason most people don't use government bonds instead of FDs is because nobody told them this was even an option. Point number 2, the liquidity myth. The most common reason people pick FDs over bonds is FDs are more liquid. And yes, you can break an FD, but here's what they don't tell you. You pay a penalty, typically 0.5 to 1% of your interest gets cut. So your 7% FD suddenly becomes a 6% FD the moment you need money urgently. Bonds, on the other hand, are traded on exchanges. If you need to exit before maturity, you can sell your bond in the secondary market, often at a price equal to or better than what you paid, depending on interest rate movements. So the liquidity advantage of FDs much smaller than most people think. Point number 3, the safety question. But bonds are risky. I hear this all the time. Let's be specific. Government bonds, zero credit risk, literally backed by the government of India. AAA rate PSU bonds backed by public sector companies. AA rates corporate bonds, large established companies with strong balance sheets. FDs above rupees 5 lakhs and not fully insured. DICGC covers only up to rupees 5 lakhs per bank. So if you have rupees 20 lakhs in one bank FD, rupees 15 lakhs is technically insured. Nobody talks about this, but it's true. So the question is not, are bonds risky? The question is, which bonds and how much do you understand about what you're buying? People enter late, exit early, and keep changing decision based on headlines. The S&P 500 is down around 7% year to date, the 14th worst start to a year in history. Less than 20% of S&P 500 stocks are trading above their 50-day moving average. The VIX fear gauge topped 31, well above its historic average of 20, and yet one analyst put it simply: if there is an agreed ceasefire or substantial de-escalation, stock will rally substantially. Given their current oversold status, this is not about predicting the next move, it's about understanding structure. When you see stock, narrative, adjustment, confusion, direction, you stop reacting and start interpreting. Because the next time something like this happens, and it will, you'll face the same choice, react or understand, and that difference is what separates outcome over time. That's also where most people struggle, not because they lack information, but because they lack clarity. And that's exactly what Setvisor focuses on. Not just telling you what's happening, but helping you understand how to think through it.